So you can just sort of ignore the links if you're so inclined and get into it. So, I've been running 3 of these sessions essentially for like a year and a half now, a little bit more than a year and a half. I have talked to more artists and photographers. I do talk to more artists and photographers year in, year out, week in, week out, than probably just about any human being on the planet. You do that for long enough, pattern recognition becomes a thing. And so it allows me to make certain judgment calls, such as in this Zoom right now, and by extension, the people that are watching it streaming online, is a diverse bunch of artists, creatives, photographers. They're spread throughout this country, oftentimes in other countries. You have different age groups, you have different levels of talent, you have different niche selections, you have different circumstances that are working against you and for you. And as diverse a bunch as that is, okay, there's really only one thing that you all have in common. Only one thing that I'm aware of, aside from the obvious, we're all human beings and the like. Every single solitary person in this Zoom session has a marketing problem. Not only do you have a marketing problem, it's a single solitary biggest problem every single solitary one of you have. Every one of you wants to go from, maybe you've never sold art before at all and you want to sell your first pieces. Maybe you've sold some pieces, but you want to turn this thing into a legitimate side hustle, i.e. it's providing side income. Some of you want to go from side hustle to consistent regular income. Some of you want to, you're already at consistent regular income and you want to double or triple that business year over year. Well, the only way that that's going to happen is if you solve the marketing problem. It's that simple. It's the single solitary biggest problem everyone has. And so I've sort of created what I call the art marketing pyramid, the art selling pyramid behind me. And, I bill it as the path to a successful art business in 2021 and beyond. And I sort of stole the concept from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And, we were all taught this as kids in school. But if you look at it, the concept is it's a pyramid and we have to sort the blocks on the bottom. And then once we do that, we can move up, right? So in Maslow's case, the bottom block is the physiological needs. You have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to do that daily. Then you can get a roof over your head and a lock on your door and money and start lifting weights apparently and the rest. So I give you the art selling pyramid as borrowed from Maslow. And the bottom block is attention, right? Attention comes in two forms. It comes in rented and owned attention. Rented attention is where we don't control the rules, but it's very important. It's Facebook fans and it's Instagram followers and it's followers on Twitter or Pinterest or YouTube, wherever you're marketing. It's rented because it can be taken away from you at any point in time. The owned attention is that which cannot be taken away from you. And most traditionally, for most people, email addresses. For some of you, snail mail addresses. For some of you, phone numbers. If you're doing text marketing or phone marketing, but fundamentally, attention is the currency of the land. Every single solitary person on this call needs more of it, and no different than in Maslow's case. The physiological needs, we know these are daily. We all have to eat. We all have to sleep. Well, if you can't answer the question about what you did to get more attention, more eyeballs to your art and photography this week, you're working on the wrong things. You're working on the wrong things. It's that fundamentally important. It is the currency of the land that we live in. Yes, it speaks to the fact that everyone has a marketing problem, but I love taking it out of the context of marketing with a little bit of a zinger. If I were to ask you guys to name for me some of the most powerful women in the world, how would you respond to that? You know how I do? It's the Kardashian Jenner sisters. Okay? Now, we can all argue about the various different ways in which those women went to acquiring all that attention. What we cannot argue about is how fantastically successful they've become as a result. Every one of them has a 10, 15, 40, $100 million business. One of them just started a tequila line, and instantaneously it's like a $40 million a year business. So why do I bring that up? I bring that up to underscore, okay, how it is absolutely the currency of the land, okay? Any one of those Kardashian Jenner sisters could decide to start painting tomorrow or could decide to become a photographer tomorrow, and they would probably sell $5 million worth of art year one. Is that fair? Maybe not, right? But it underscores how important attention is, how attention is ultimately the currency of the land that we live in. All right. So after we come to terms with that, the next block up has an outer portion and an inner portion. The outer portion is the business model, okay? And the business model that you need to be running is you need to be selling. Pardon me, I had to grab one of my props. You need to be selling direct. You need to be selling direct to the end consumer, the person that purchases your work. And you need to be doing this such that you retain the information on who is purchasing your work, okay? In stark contrast to selling through a physical retail gallery or an online gallery. You might get some sales, but you don't have any idea who is purchasing your work. So you don't have the ability to market to them in the future. And more importantly, you don't have the ability to build a collector list. Now, let me define a collector list. Concept I've borrowed from this book. It's a wonderful book. I think you guys should all buy it and read it. It's called Don't Be a Starving Artist, and it's by Weiland, who is the whale guy, arguably the best-selling artist in the United States. Apparently, it's not even close. And in here, he talks about the power of a collector list. Now, he defines it as people that will purchase or have purchased 7 pieces from him, 7+ pieces from him. So 7 at the low. Some people are at like 30 and 40 and 50 pieces, right? And he goes on to talk about how he treats these people like they're staying in the Four Seasons. You know, they're getting the personalized Christmas card from him. They're getting personalized emails from him. He's liking their Instagram and Facebook posts. He is essentially treating them like they're staying at the Four Seasons because they are the absolute bread and butter of an art or photography business, full stop. And earlier in my career, you know, I've been doing this like 7 years now, laser focused on the art and photography industries. And early on when I read that, I was like, oh, that's really smart. Since then, I've seen it play out because we've had customers for that long, and I've seen the ones that keep a collector list and cultivate a collector list and seen how powerful it is, okay? And I would go as far to say that it is either the number 1 or number 2 most important indicator of how much revenue an art or a photography business is capable of generating. That is how critically important it is. Because when you look at this business, fundamentally, you guys at the end of the day are just commissioned salespeople. You create the thing, and then after the thing has been created, it is incumbent upon you to go out and sell the thing. If you are successful at going out and selling the thing, you get paid. And if you are not, you don't, right? There's no guarantees whatsoever. The work is not going to sell itself. Now, when you keep a collector list and when you take care of a collector list, you go from being a commissioned salesperson to a commissioned salesperson with a base salary. With a base salary. And that is how fundamentally important it is. It is staggering. You know, to give you an example and to keep the math really simple. You are an artist and you come out with a new series of 10 pieces and you're going to release the 10 pieces to everybody on Wednesday. On Sunday night, you compose an email to your collector list and you say, dear collectors, patrons, I thank you so much for your continued support. I just want to let you know that I'm releasing a brand new series to the public on Wednesday. Is my way of saying thanks for you supporting me and my business, my creative endeavors. Of course, you guys are going to get first look at the new works. Should you want any of them, of course, you have the first right to purchase them. Thanks again for your continued support, Patrick. And what ends up happening is your collectors end up buying some portion of the works. And it starts small at first. Maybe it's 1 out of 10. So 10% of the art that you just created is sold before you even take it to market. And I've seen it go as high as 60 and 70 and 80% in certain circumstances with our customers, which is absolutely staggering. So you're essentially getting paid a salary just for creating and taking care of these people, just for creating and treating these people like they're staying in the Four Seasons. And boy, the ones that had these collector lists before COVID hit and all of the available places to buy art disappeared, and they had these lists and they just kept marketing and they did not miss a beat. In fact, the entire COVID lockdown period was the single solitary best couple of months that their business had seen in years and years and years. So it's absolutely fundamental, critically important. Once we're working on our attention, we have the business model sorted. Okay, we're working on our collector list. There are 3 ways to sell art and photography. There are 3. I believe every artist, every photographer needs to start by understanding the 3, and then of course deploying the 3 when the situation calls for it, when the circumstances call for it. Now, what is the best way to sell art or photography? Trick question of sorts. You guys all know the answer to this. It's in person, face to face. It always has been. It always will be. That's it. The problem, though, is myself, Suzanne, Matthew here, Dan, all of us are geographically fixed on this planet. We all have to sleep, and we're incapable of having 15 conversations at once. My wife tries from time to time. So you have to have a website, okay? You have to have a website. It's the next best way. And it solves for all these situations, right? It works for you when you're asleep. It works for you when you have 15 people wanting to talk to you at the same time, right? And it's critical that you have a legitimate e-commerce enabled website that presents the work in a beautiful light and is capable of transacting commerce. Most artists and photographers don't. Now, the newest way, okay, the way that literally has me more excited, it is the single solitary biggest advancement, breakthrough in this industry in forever, it's not even close, is via live video. In either a one-to-one or a one-to-many fashion, okay? Let's start with the one-to-one. Let's say I follow Suzanne here on Instagram, and I'm sat down on the couch one evening, and all of a sudden I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see a piece, and I was like, wow, that thing's really beautiful. And I hold the phone over and I hand it to my wife, and I'm like, sweetie, look at this piece by Suzanne. This thing's amazing. What do you think? She's like, yeah, it's great. Turns out we're remodeling our bathroom and we need some new wall art in there. So I send Suzanne a little message on Instagram, and I'm like, Suzanne, my wife and I are extremely interested in some of your recent works, and we're wondering, we're remodeling a bathroom. We're wondering if we could talk to you about it. And Suzanne sees that message and she hits a response, and she's like, Patrick, no problem. Let's set up a Zoom call, and we can jump into a video chat, and bring your wife, and I'll introduce myself, my work, my inspiration. I can show you some of the things. We can talk about the various different media types and options. And I say, that's great. That's fantastic. Next thing you know, I'm in a Zoom call with Suzanne, and scurrying out of the back of the side of the picture at Suzanne's house is a dog. And I'm like, no way, Suzanne, you've got a dog? I've got a dog. We're dog people. I love dogs. I'm getting to know her. She's showing me the work. We're building an emotional connection. And because my wife and I are right there, both the decision makers, the decision gets made and the work gets sold, right? And that's like a one iteration of it, right? Like another iteration of it, this is this kid, Jonah Allen. He lives in Florida, killing it at a young age. But on his website, yeah, you can call his phone number, which is wonderful right at the top. Yeah, you can shop his art, but you can also book an appointment. You can book a virtual art consulting call, and you can do this without him even needing to be there. He puts the little blocks of time that work for him in his calendar, and if one works for you, you can go ahead and schedule a 30-minute call, and then you're into a video chat with the artist. Extremely, extremely effective, yet almost no artists and photographers are doing this, okay? That's the one-to-one, okay? Now we got to talk about the one-to-many. I love the one-to-many. The one-to-many is this concept of a live art show, okay? Now, in this instance, let me get to a better one. I don't like this one. In this instance, you are streaming, okay, to the social media platforms. You are holding up and merchandising your work. You are talking about it, and people have the ability to come and buy, okay? And we started running these even a little bit before the pandemic, but during the pandemic was when we really, really started doubling down. And early on, my buddy Matthew here, he's a painter in Quebec in Canada, and this is his garage studio where he paints. He had these old pieces in inventory. He's been painting for a long time, so this was stuff he had in his shed that he wanted to sell. And we ran 2 of these sales with him, okay? Over a 15-day period, he sold 61 pieces for a little bit over $30,000 Canadian. Results are absolutely staggering. We're like, whoa, that's amazing. Since then, we've gone on to think about, like, how can you duplicate these results, right? And since then, we've run literally hundreds of these things with our customers. Every artist imaginable in every different part of the country, in every different kind of a niche, with different personalities, different follower accounts, and the results just continue to be staggering. And I love using this example of the one behind me, Meg. She's a painter from Kansas City. Remember what I said about this book in the collector list? She was physically moving from one studio space to another studio space, and so she had a bunch of inventory and color sketches and smaller pieces and the like that she wanted to clear out. And so she had one of these sales. There was 81 pieces in the show. She was having the show on a Wednesday. She emailed her collector list on Sunday. Her collector list bought 46% of the show before it even started. And she did, I think, sold 65, 67 pieces like that, something like that for a little bit over $13,000 because they were smaller pieces. And like I say, since then, every type of artist and every niche imaginable in every part of this country and others. And, you go through this list and you look at this, you guys, and you know what you notice? These people look just like we do, okay? None of them are professional actors. They all appear to live in normal homes like the rest of us do. There is no hair. There is no makeup. There is no fancy cameraman, okay? It's just real artists talking about their art, sometimes wearing white gloves, in the case of Karen here, which I thought was awesome. But we just continue to run these because I have never, okay, by which I mean never, seen a technique, tactic, marketing event that is so doggone effective, okay, as live art shows like this streamed onto the various different socials. And yes, there's some things that you do during and after, but they're just fantastic. They're fantastic, and it's marketing not any of you are doing. I love this one because this guy's like, he's a surf photographer. You know, he gets in the waves and shoots the photos, but like, is he not on brand? You know, there he is in his garage in Florida. He's got a bunch of surfboards racked up and a bunch of skateboards racked up, and he's showing off some of his pieces and his camera equipment and everything else. This guy's a rock photographer. He and I share a surname, not related, but share a surname. But he's totally awesome. Anyway, lest you think that we're the only ones that are figuring out this whole live art show thing, nothing could be further from the truth, right? So, you know, your industry doesn't have a ton of reports. This one I really like. It's by Art Basel and UBS Global. They put it on a yearly basis, and it's called, they even do a mid-year one now because it's gotten so popular. So this is actually the wrong link, but I'll send you the right one. But these guys, as a disclaimer, they really only survey the, call it, top 1% of the art market. So figure people's major dealer representation selling mid to high six figures a year. But it's still, there's some really good data in these reports, and I love reading them. I recommend you do. And so, you know, they have these web pages too. Don't worry, I'm going to send you all this so you can check it out later, you know, with these pretty graphs and animations and everything. But just listen to this. I love this. And I quote, Chapter 5 looks at the online art market and the rapid evolution in sales in 2021. The chapter shows how the dealer sector shifted sales online in 2020 and at the development of online viewing rooms, OVRs. OVR now, as it turns out, is the new accepted term for how these guys are going about, and by these guys I mean the dealers and the high-end artists, are going about selling to their high net worth individuals. OVR is a snooty term for a Zoom call. No different than what we are doing right here. That's all it is, okay? On one side, you have the high net worth individual and the decision makers. On the other side, you either have the artist dealer, the artist agent, a salesperson, the gallery owner, the artist himself, and a tremendous, tremendous amount of art was sold this way to at the very top end of the market. And so the whole world is trying to figure this all out at once. How do you best leverage live video to sell art and photography, right? And there's so many different iterations of this, I can't even begin to tell you. So my buddy Matthew here, okay, in the height of the pandemic, he had a show scheduled at a gallery, and it was in his native Canada. Their restrictions were even harder than the United States, so not a lot of people could travel to it. Everyone had to be in masks, and he went ahead with the gallery show. Obviously, attendance was very light. He sold a little bit to his collectors ahead of time, sold some day of, and then what do we do the next day? Turn the laptop, turn the cell phone on, put his ear pods in. He got his nice little sleeveless outfit here, and grabbed a glass of wine, and he's like, check out my show. And he's introducing the concept of the show, and then instantaneously walks right into the gallery and he's showing you the pieces. Let me just get to it. And, you know, this is so close to the real thing, I can't even begin to tell you, to actually being there in person. I mean, look at this. You're looking at one of his latest works on the wall. You can see this one's got a red dot on it. It's sold already. You're starting to get the FOMO. People that are watching on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram are asking him questions in real time. He's responding. And as a result of this, he went on to sell quite a few more pieces. And I rant about this to no end. I mean, I have never seen anything this effective at selling art, period, full stop. And I want to show you, you know, on my list. So this show was when? This show, oh yeah, the date's wrong on this. But I want to show you something about results. And so this is Carol. Okay, Carol is a wild horse photographer in northern Colorado. And what she has massively in her favor, probably unbeknownst to most, wild horses are still a thing in the western United States. Completely wild, roaming around. The ranchers and the farmers are not very happy about this because the horses do damage to their land or the crops or whatever. And so they're trying to get the federal government to cull these horses, okay? So the horse community, as you could imagine, is extremely up in arms about this. And so why do I bring that up? Because I'm going to share with you some of the results that Carol's been able to get as a result of running these shows with us. And it's just, I mean, it's just incredible. But anyway, she's got hot button subject material, right? So let me just see if I can get this. Do I have that pulled up already? I should. Shoot, I'm gonna have to go get the link. You're gonna have to bear with me for a second. So just watch, and I'll continue to talk. Normally, I play the video, so I'm not ready. But I love not just talking about these things, and I love giving real results. You know, like when you show the real results, it just gives it teeth. Okay, so here I got my document. Hold on, bear with me. All right. Come on. something. Now then, thank you. So her first show, March 24th of 2021. That was actually coincidentally the one I was showing you on video right there. That was her first show. And that one, not great results, but not bad results. She sold 6 pieces for $1,800. Average order value $303, right? This was her second show, which was 3 months later, June 21st of 2021. Sold 49 pieces, $6,600 for $136 average order value. Her last show, okay, which took place on the 7th of last month, a little less than a month ago, $27,190, 119 pieces sold, $228, and the results are absolutely stunning. They're absolutely fantastic, and I should mention we are seeing such results with this particular marketing tactic as a business that we've sort of gone all in terms of feature creation. What happened? Go back. Oh, I know she's working on the page, so I can't show it. I can show another one. I'll show another one. Hold on. So this is the page, and this is a new page that we've created specifically for running these live art shows. Because what happens when you run these things is, okay, great. Everyone gets conceptually that you're going to be holding up your pieces and talking about them, right? We know that, so you better have some pieces to hold up and talk about. That's number one. But where do people buy them when you're running the show? Like, if somebody's interested, what do you say? Do you say, send me an email, or do you say, send me an Instagram DM, or leave me a comment on Facebook and I'll follow up after the fact? No, you need a page to direct them to, right? You need a page that you can embed the video from the show after the fact, right? And you need a very, very easy way for them to check out. And so we've created, this is just one of the various different features that we have, these live art show pages. And I designed these things by scratch for myself. You'll notice no header, nowhere to click. I don't want them going anywhere but focusing on your show. There's nothing to click here. There's nothing to click here. There's nothing to click here. You have your logo. You have the details of the show if you're so inclined. People have the ability to share it, and they have the ability to look at their shopping cart, nothing else. And what's really cool is that this page creation is so easy. I know you guys hate creating web pages. I hate creating web pages. There's no one that likes creating web pages. Maybe a few, but they have problems. So all you do is you grab all of these images, you upload them all at once. And look, these are just simple photographs, right? This is the inventory that's in the show. Instantaneously, the grid is built for you. Then all you're doing is titling, pricing, and putting in a description, right? And the minute that someone buys, boom, get a little red dot, just like in the gallery, right? Boom, sold. That piece is sold. And also, we did this really cool checkout where it's just a little side cart. So they're not even leaving the show at all. They can put the credit card in, pay now. They can use Google Pay, Apple Checkout. I have to put in those details and I want to do it. But it's super, super, super fast and easy. And it's a phenomenal way to sell it. And you know what no one realizes is that when you run these first shows, because none of you guys have been marketing consistently, let's just be honest, I know none of you have been marketing consistently, you will oftentimes run the live art show, and the only person that's going to be watching the live art show is your mother, okay? That is totally okay. That is totally okay, especially early on, because what you're going to do is, well, if you're a customer with us, but regardless, what you're going to do is you're going to email your list after the fact, and then after the show is over is just as important as the show itself. People are just buying and buying and buying the entire time. And I love these pages. They are just, they're so, so beautiful. But anyway, I could be ranting about the live art shows all day long. I think they're the future of selling art and photography, full stop. And we can get into it more in detail, but let me get back to my pyramid. Is that it? Here we go. All right, so great. So we've covered that. The final triangle of the pyramid is everything else, you guys. It's everything else. So what do I mean by that? Do you have a retail art gallery or an online art gallery that you're selling in that's bringing you revenue? Fantastic. I love revenue, but it has to be in addition to working the bottom steps of that pyramid. You've got the show and thayer circuit going on. I love the show and thayer circuit. We can show you how to get more ROI out of the show and thayers than you ever even imagined possible. But guess what? It's in addition to working the pyramid. You do that, and we sprinkle in a little perspective, okay? And which I mean perspective. Guys, I've been running these calls for a year and a half. I've talked to more of you than any human being alive. Do you know what I've come to notice? Routinely on these calls are people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and occasionally even in their 90s. Okay, and they're coming on here asking for advice how to sell their art and photography. I see that, and I'm like, whoa. A couple of interesting points. One, creatives do not go through midlife crises. You do not retire. You can't turn this gift off that you've been given, okay? You're going to be at this for the rest of your lives. When you realize that, okay, it gives you the perspective that most people have decades, if not several decades left to get the pyramid right, right? When you get the pyramid right, your business is actually growing year in, year out. When you get the pyramid right, you are not worried of another lockdown or this, that, or the other, or a show on the Thayer circuit gets canceled. You don't need it, okay? You truly control your own destiny, and you control all the important levers of your business. And when you get it right, you have years to build this thing up, and it will continue to grow year after year after year. Does that mean it's easy? No, it doesn't, because I know a lot of you have not been following that pyramid. You've sold a ton of art, but you don't have any idea who those buyers are. You have absolutely no one to market to. Many of you have kept the information, and God love you for that, but you've not marketed to it consistently. They don't even know you exist right now. So you have the perspective of how long you have to get this right. You get yourself in a good mental position to say, okay, I'm ready to learn how to start doing this. I know whatever I've been doing before hasn't worked. You wouldn't be on this call if it did, okay? You got to get the pyramid right. You have to have the perspective how long it's going to take. You have to prepare yourself for the agony that is going to be learning how to market, which is not fun for many of you. Many of you don't want to do it. You can't pay us to do some of it, but I still want you to learn how to do it. But when you have the right perspective, then you're starting to work on your business, and you're starting to work on your business effectively. And the beautiful thing about where we are as a business, Art Storefronts, right now is we're at like 5,600 customers. Myself, members of my team study the data on the ones that are selling the best. And we're constantly figuring out what they're doing and who's selling the most originals, who's selling the most prints, who's selling the most merchandise, who's selling the highest priced originals, who's selling the highest volume of pieces. And when you pair that sales information, which is real artists actually getting results, not talking about it, not nonsense, when you pair that with the digital data, right? Understanding where that traffic's coming from, what traffic sources it's coming from, what marketing initiatives are working best. It allows us to take that advice and turning it into the education that you need that actually works to sell art or photography. No longer are you going to be out there floundering, wondering what the heck you're doing, what you're working on, worried about whether or not this is going to work and then quitting on your marketing, right? Never again are you going to not market consistently all year long, because you're going to have the right perspective, and we're going to continue to poke you and prod you when you're going to be like, I'm ready to quit, right? I've been at this for 3 months, so I don't have any sales yet. Why aren't the fish jumping in my boat? Which are all these normal things that happen to artists and photographers and take them off the path, right? Like, none of you guys have been marketing consistently for the last 10 years. Could you imagine where your business would be if you had? It is the utter, total, and complete game changer, plus the pyramid. So that's my rant. I'm sticking to it. We can now jump into the Q&A section, which you can ask me any question you like about anything. It can be anything that we do as business at Art Storefronts. It can be about where you are in your career. It can be about pricing or niche selection or getting your work photographed or how to get your first sale or how to double your business or why the next 2 months, and this month particularly, which is why I love that you guys are on this call right now. November is the biggest art selling month every year, year after year after year after year. It's not even close. Primarily it has to do with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and buying for the holidays. So the fact that you're on this call right now, the fact that it's not Black Friday this week, you still have a couple of weeks to get up, get running, get rolling, get ready, whether you sign up with us or not, leads me to believe that your timing is impeccable. So good work on that. Let's talk about questions, how that goes down. So for the brave ones that have the camera on, which is really only Suzanne, if you have a question, Suzanne, all you have to do is raise your hand and I'll see it. You can do the old-fashioned hand raise. For everybody else, at the bottom of your Zoom window, there's like this little bar at the bottom, and there's a reactions button, a little smiley face with the reactions button. That gives you where you can raise your hand digitally. That will let me know you have a question, and then I can unmute you, and you can ask away. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on, okay? I hate being on video. I totally understand if you don't want to turn your camera on, so you can do audio only. You can throw your question in the chat. I can answer those as well. And excuse me, if you're one of the ones that's watching on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, I see your comments. I can pull your comments into the stream so you can ask away as well. But I need a brave one out of you two. You two are the only ones who have your cameras on, you and Susan. So you're the only ones. Yes, Suzanne, that's what I'm talking about. I knew I liked you. Okay, Suzanne, you're first. You have to unmute Suzanne. It's like the little mic icon in the bottom left-hand corner. It's like one click and that'll get it. I'll let you know when you get it. It's just like this little microphone icon, bottom left-hand corner, like right here, and you just,
There we go.
yep, gotcha.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh, well, I've got a lot of
Well, I'm
questions.
ready. That's what we're here for.
I don't even know how to set up a Zoom art sale. Don't you need it like an ID number to get in? And I mean, I don't
It's
know how to do any of that.
it's easier than you think. It's easier than you think. 'Cause that's what we teach you to do all year long too, by the way. But it's easier than you think. You could even just use your phone, right? And you could do a FaceTime chat if you're so inclined, or a what's the other one they call? I don't know. Do you have an Apple phone or an Android phone? The point is, trust me,
Apple.
it's
Yeah.
it's easier than you think. Yeah, it's easier than
Okay.
you think. So question one, question two. I just got a list. Just come prepared.
How
Yeah, yeah, go. I'm with you. Go.
um, how are the actual payments and exchange and shipping and all that? How does that
Wonderful,
work?
wonderful question. So with us, per the pyramid, the artist owns everything. So it's your website. It's connected to your merchant account. That's connected to your bank account. We obviously show you how to set all of that up. And then there's a couple of different ways to handle printing, but what the majority of our customers do is they use our POD. POD stands for print on demand. And so you pick a print partner. We have Bay Photo on the West Coast, which is a huge firm, and then we have another one called Graphic Dimensions. It's on the East Coast. You can use either or. There's subtle differences, but an order comes in, the you get paid, the printer gets paid, the printer prints the order, the printer boxes up the order, the printer slaps your logo on the side of the box, ships it off. Our system sends all of the emails. You touch nothing, by which I mean nothing. Done. It's great. And you want to know why? Because you need all that time to work on your marketing. You don't need that time to be worrying about admin or calling the printer or sending people tracking numbers or following up. So the system takes care of all that for you, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
You're still on. I thought you had a bunch of questions.
Oh no, I'm waiting for another question from someone else.
Okay, okay, all good, all good. I appreciate you going first. It always takes the brave one to go first. Um, okay, so I've got a question here from Aaron. Aaron's got a good one. Aaron, I'm going to unmute you because there'll be follow-ups on this. I'm hoping you can ask it in real time. So you just have to unmute your mic. Aaron's asking me, can you explain how the artist should get high enough quality images of their art for their website? What part of the country do you live in, Aaron? Is it like small town or decent sized town? Give me some.
Decent sized town.
So what I recommend people do, April's going to put a link into the chat that we have that explains all the different ways that you can get the high quality images. My favorite way is the following. You go to Craigslist. You go to Creative Gigs. You say, looking for a photographer that has photographed art before for reproduction. I have a number of pieces that I need to get photographed for reproduction for my website. I need you to come to my house, set up in my garage, shoot all of the art, and I'm looking for a per piece price. And you post that, and here's the secret to the whole thing. And you do not look at the responses until you get 20. Thankfully, on Craigslist, the thing they have in abundance, aside from no, it's probably the number one thing they have on Craigslist is photographers. And what you'll inevitably end up getting is a bunch of guys that have done this before, and they reply, "Hey, Aaron, I've done this before. Here's the links to the times that I've done it. Boom, boom, boom. I charge $40 a piece, or $50 a piece, or $35 a piece if you have more than such and such." And you hire them, you have them come over, it's all done, and you can go ahead and sell all those originals because now you can sell reproductions of all of them.
Okay, cool. When they do that, do they typically bring lighting and
All
the
of it.
backdrop
Yeah,
and
exactly.
everything?
Yep, they have everything.
Okay.
And so if you have a
'Cause
garage, you can
I'm
just
sure other
yeah.
people have incredibly messy homes too. I don't even have a white wall.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. It would be terrible even if you did. They have to shoot it against the backdrop so they can control the lighting and everything else. So yeah, don't worry. Everyone's got a messy house. You should see mine. Why do you think, Aaron? Okay. Why do you think I have this fancy green screen? Okay. It's so you can't see
Beautiful.
the destruction my small children have wreaked on my office behind me. Because let me tell you, it's profound.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you. That's totally the best way to get started. Yep, I got you, Susan. And then MV, I'll get you next. Susan, go ahead.
Okay. So I have sold like 3 pieces in a year,
Okay.
all to people I know, except I did do an art fair and I sold one to someone I didn't know,
Boom.
which
Love
was
that.
really encouraging. I was
Yes.
so excited.
That's important.
So I my question is, what is your suggestion for beginning to build this collector's list if you have not developed an online presence and are just thinking about starting to do that now?
Yeah. So early on, we fake it until we make it. Anyone that's on your email list is your collector, right? And so let's say you were going to have that same sale on a Wednesday. And let's say on the collector list were these 3 family and friends that you sold art to, the one person that's a stranger, and your mother. You are going to put all of them on an email and say, hey, thank you guys so much for being on my email list. Just to let you know, I'm having a sale to the public on Wednesday. No one's going to, you don't have any public aside from the 4, but they don't need to know that. And you do the exact same playbook, and that's how it works early on. It's a straight up fake it till you make it, till you get there. And it takes time. You know, collectors are built one collector at a time, just like emails are built one email at a time, just like Facebook fans are built one email at a time. But the encouraging thing is that you sold art to strangers. Once you sold art to strangers, then you have a product. Then you know you have a product the market wants, and then you transition from is my art good enough to sell, from that problem to the now you have a marketing problem like the rest of us. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Oh, and cost.
Yeah, cost. So we do the demo process, which is like test driving the car. It's like a one-on-one Zoom call where they look at your work and they show you all the bells and whistles and plans and packages and all of that. But independently in terms of cost, here's what I can tell you. We realized as a business some years ago that we would be out of business if we just tried to have a website solution. Meaning if we were like all the others and just had, hey, here's a website, sign up. No one has a website problem. Everyone has a marketing problem. You can't even have a website problem until you fix a marketing problem, really. So we tackle creating successful artists and photographers 2 ways. 1, yeah, we do give you the website because you do need one. But 2, we teach you how to market all year long. So with us, you essentially get a website and you get enrollment into an art business and marketing university that never has any graduates. And that's, in a nutshell, the easiest way to explain it. So our plans start at $999 down one time. And then there is a monthly fee for the website, which I think is either $39, $49, or $59. But when you get a demo, they can explain the this, that's, and the others. Essentially, the one-time fee goes to pay for the army of staff that is going to be teaching you how to build your business for the rest of your life. So,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. MB, you're up next.
So I think I might have, are we good? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. I might have a little bit of a different issue going on than what I've been hearing, but I have a very, very solid fine art original collectors group.
Okay.
And I'm in LA and I have a very solid resume and I've run a studio for many years, but everything is different now. Obviously, everybody knows that everything has changed. And I really don't want to make much original artwork anymore because I shut my studio down and I'm not really interested in running a studio and trying to go for big galleries, doing shows for, 2 years out, working on a show 2 or 3 years out and trying to rely on a gallerist to sell everything for me. That's an original piece and controlling my life and controlling my career.
Yes.
So I've had
and not giving you the data on who's actually purchasing your damn work.
Exactly. And I've in LA, I've run into an inordinate amount of basically criminals, men. Let's preface it with male criminals who do some pretty shady business. So what my pivot right now is turning the thousands of images that I have. My husband's a professional photographer, so I'm really lucky. We actually run a side business photographing artwork for anyone that's in LA and needs their artwork photographed. We can do it, and we can do it really well. But my pivot is extreme in that I have this website built that's ready to go, basically ready to go on a very, very basic level to sell reproductions and to get them out of my hands into people's hands without me, as you said, ever touching anything, right? Ever having to deal with it.
Yes.
Now I'm just basically trying to decide which operation I'm going to go with to fulfill the fulfillment part of it is pretty difficult. I'm going to be honest. It's not easy because I don't want crappy reproductions going into crappy frames that go into, into homes. I just don't want that. So I'm having a lot of difficulty finding that middle place of like not too expensive, like my regular, like high-end printers and not too bad quality whatever. So that's one issue. But my question, my real big question for you guys, because I've been getting like an email a day from you guys for so long.
God, we email
and
so much.
And I look at them and I'm interested in the service, but what I'm not truly understanding is, okay, so I have this functioning website with literally thousands of available images. I've culled a lot and really curated it. But how do I benefit from you being like, how do I take my existing platform and hand it over to you guys? Like, do I have to go back out of everything if I want to be on your platform? Do I have to pull everything out that I built with this little team that I have and redo it with you guys?
Sadly you do.
Okay.
You're in extremely rare air because very few artists sell as much as you do and have sold as much as you have. So, and I'm assuming you sell a bunch. I live an hour south from you. I know what it costs to be an artist in LA. So I get that.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't invest too much in the website. You're an absolute fit. It's a no-brainer. You need to jettison that website and not spend another dime on it. It's not even close, even if you had like the best web design firm in the world, because it's really hard selling art. You have to have a bunch of bells and whistles and this is and that's, and you don't want to be monkeying around with any of the admin, any of the back end, any of the updates, any of it.
It's a real problem.
Waste of time. It is a waste of time. And you could never compete because, like I said, we have so many customers. We're constantly changing, iterating, and making it better. So it's an absolute no-brainer. You need to see his demo. You need to sign up. Game over. What are your original start at? Just out of curiosity.
My original, well, it depends. I have, very small works to, 9-foot works. So it's anywhere from, $300 to, $12,000, or $15,000 and everything in between. A standard canvas, small to medium sized canvas is $1,200 to $3,000. So that's an average. The average price of something.
Got it. How much information did you retain on all those people that have purchased? And do you have an email list? Is it a small email list?
Yeah. Oh yeah, extensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. I don't mean it as like sales pitch or hyperbole. We can massively help you. But this industry is crazy, right? And you have to understand. You have to understand the perspective of getting to the level that you're at. Very few already do that, right? Like it's a very, very small number. And I always cite this book, and I love this book. I think everyone should read the book too. It's called The $12 Million Stuffed Shark. It's on Amazon, and it's the contemporary case of the art market. Let me see if I can pull it up. But I love this book, and I love this read, and I think I'm pulling it up here, and then I'll do my screen share. Is it $12 million? I think I just do shark. So it's important. It's really, really important in the context. And so it is. It's called The $12 Million Stuffed Shark, and it's on Amazon. Okay. And there's this section, okay, and again, the book is 10 years old now, right? So adjusted for inflation and all of that, right? So they're surveying a bunch of artists that have representation. And in the book, it says there are 40,000 artists in residence in London, 40,000 artists in residence in New York, 80,000 residents total, okay? And these are the stats that it breaks down in this book. They have, out of the 80,000, 75 are superstar $1 million a year plus revenue artists, 0.09% of the 80,000, okay? Next tier down out of the 80,000, mature, successful six-figure artists, okay? 300 out of the 80,000, 0.38%, okay? We're not even to 1% yet. We're not even to 0.5% yet. And then the next tier down, which they call representation, and has help, meaning they have a supportive spouse and or they have a side business and out of the 80,000, these people are there's 5,000. So 6.72%. And then you look at that and you extrapolate the fact that all of those people are still working through gallery representation. The ones that are selling $100,000 a year, you're only keeping 50, if that.
Yep.
That's not a sustainable business. That's not survivable. And
I know.
I go I go back to this guy. Okay, so he was the exact same as you. Okay, he's an extremely talented artist, and he would do 9 months, a year, get ready for the show. This one was a smaller show, but huge ritzy gallery, full dog and pony velvet robes, bartender, music, performance, art inside the whole thing. And the last show that he did, which was before COVID, and there were some killer works. This guy's mega talented. I love showing off his work. Check this one out. I'm gonna pull it up. I gotta pull it up. It's in my backgrounds. But he sold like 112,000 Canadian at the show. Okay, which is a pretty good result. And the pieces were these huge ones. This was like I'm getting it up behind me. This was like the marquee one from the show, which is beautiful.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys super talented. And bunch of celebrity collectors, the whole thing. And then and then during the pandemic, we run these live art shows with him, okay? And he does the 30,000 Canadian over 15 days, and he's sitting there going, "What the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I busting my ass for 9 months?" And then, 5 out of the 22 pieces didn't sell. We're gonna go ahead and need to have you pay for the shipping to bring that back, right? And like all those games, and it's like, no.
Yep.
The gallery, okay, so I get so fired up about this. The gallery artist representation is so exploitative, it makes me sick. It is the tenant-farmer relationship. You might get a roof over your head and a couple of meals, but once the party's over, you're leaving with your shirt on your back and nothing else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I also believe, to your point, you've already gotten there. That relationship is blockbuster Netflix moment. That relationship is taxi cab Uber moment. It's over.
Exactly.
You don't need them anymore. And you certainly are not going to have a business that's going to build. So anyway, don't worry. We have your information. I'm going to have my people contact you. You need to get a demo. You need to see it. Don't spend another dime on that other stupid website.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
And
good.
then,
because I was just about to.
yeah, don't. It's just, let me just save you the money. I'll save you so much money on that. And then you don't have anything to worry about with the printers at all. The printers that we use.
Okay, cool. Good.
The thing about printing is that it's, I don't even need to get into it, but it's become a commodity. Okay, everyone uses the same monitors, the same printers, the same ink, the same media types. Okay,
Yeah.
So all the small printers are disappearing because there's no, they can't buy ink by the barrel, right? They can't,
right?
So yeah. Anyway, so it will be zero problem whatsoever. You won't have to touch any of it. You do still want to sell the originals though. How many do you have left in inventory?
Hundreds.
Okay, game on. Yep. And where in LA are you, just as a final?
I'm in Venice.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Post
and
cleanup.
I paint waves. I paint abstract waves, but real funky, real like,
love it.
Real tight, real California style.
I am no traffic, 45 minutes down the road from you. With traffic, hour and a half.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm in. Yeah. So let's let somebody else get their game on, and we'll talk.
Yep. Love it. Thanks, MV. Okay, guys. Who else? Questions. So Rebecca's asking, great example how we can direct connect. I'm not sure I totally get that, Rebecca. Great example how we can direct connect to our patrons. But yeah, I think you're just talking about taking care of the collectors. Oh yeah, Chris was asking me about SEO solutions. God, I love this question. Chris, I'm going to unmute you because I want to talk about this. And you'll need to hit your mic icon if you can, Chris. So here's the beautiful thing. You do not have to waste even a minute on SEO, by which I mean not even a minute. SEO is not an effective way to sell art. Blanket statement, but for 999 out of 1,000 artists, it's true. People do not say, I need to buy a photo of a bird. Go to Google and type photos of birds and then buy a photo of the bird. And if they do, it's 1 out of 1,000 art sales. Okay. It is 1 out of 1,000 art sales. SEO went away 15 to 18 years ago being effective. And even now it's like expensive and the ROI is just not there. And so we have a system that does it for you automatically, number one. But even if you never sign up, you don't need to waste a minute on it because it is not effective. And even if it is effective, the ROI of the time that you would spend on the SEO is nowhere near as high as the ROI if you took those hours and instead invested them in Instagram and Facebook marketing. Not even close.
I got you. Appreciate that. Because I mean, I get the website up and everything run like that, but I'm having problems with
It doesn't work.
trying to figure out the functionality of the SEO. Because I figured, the more lines you have in the water, the probability you're going to catch something. So I'd like to have something set up on the SEO side as well. I come from a sales background, so I understand where you're coming from as well.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. The premise of SEO, right, is the biggest flaw in all of it. And I bet you think when someone says SEO, you need to make sure that you have the right keywords and meta description and URL on all your pieces. And once you do that, then fish are going to jump into the boat. That is the biggest lie that's ever been sold in the history of mankind. You know what SEO is? Once you have that basic step one, I mean, you're not even at the 0.1 yard line after you filled out the meta words, the meta description and the keywords. Then you have to go and actively get links back to your site. Then you have to go and actively get links back to your site week in, week out for years. And guess what? Not every keyword you do that for is going to be a home run. And, most artwork is not so easily Googleable unless it is a very unique niche, right? So it's just not even, it is an utter, total, and complete waste of time. And what's rad is I can make those calls in 2 seconds because I look at all 5,200 of my customers' analytics reports, and I don't see anyone that is doing especially well on organic traffic aside from the people who's going into the search engine and typing the artist's name, which is very easy to do SEO for, right? So Chris Warren art, you better be the first example, right? If you're not, then that's something we work on. But all the rest of it you can ignore.
Gotcha. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no worries. One less thing, right? One less thing. Okay. Peter, you're up next. Go ahead, Peter. And you need to unmute. Yep, gotcha. Oh yeah, sorry, I should have put that up. Oh, I had you. I think you unmuted and then remuted. Yep, gotcha.
Okay. No, I got an email saying this was starting in 10 minutes, and it seems like it's ending in 10 minutes. So
we'll send you. Yeah, we'll send you the replay after the fact. But don't worry, we still have plenty of time for questions.
Okay.
I love this view out your window, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's a piece of art itself. Of course, I've got a lot of photographs of this kind of stuff. But anyway,
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm a PhD economist who does photography, and I've sold a little bit on stock photos. But I got the suggestion of your storefronts that I've been going through a long set of links that Matt sent me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out whether it's worth my time or not. And so I'm still in the study mode. I've visited some of the websites, but I would like, I gave him my links to a couple of photographic sites, 500px and my own site, which I don't post too much because it doesn't get much traffic.
Yeah. You'll have to do active marketing. I mean, how bad do you want the business, right? Do you need the income financially, or are you content having a hobby, or do you feel like you want to have something to wrench on, for lack of a better?
Or I don't need it financially. It's nice to have an additional source of income.
Always.
But I'm not making. I'm not going to spend 40, 50 hours a week. I do a lot of pro bono work that takes a good bit of my time, but I do have a good stock of photos, and I can see whether they evaluate. I gave my links to this guy Matt who responded. And
that's our resident Kiwi. He's from New Zealand.
Oh, he's a Kiwi.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Oregon.
Yeah. I love you have your PhD in economics. That's awesome. My wife's got her PhD in applied research methodology, which is a fancy way to say statistics. I think
got a PhD in marketing.
yeah, from the School of Hard Knocks, let me tell you. What I would say is I think you need to come up with your why first, right? Like, is it you want your work seen, or you would like to sell your work from time to time, or you like the thought of, do you want to build a business there, right? Like, ultimately, I want you to have the desire to build a business first. If you do have the desire to build a business and have some extra income coming in, then I think that's a great place to start. If you don't want to do the work, we do have packages where we'll do the work for you. But you gotta want to have the business, right? Because you're like, if it's just like, hey, I love my photography and I love the feedback I get when people see it, right? You don't need us for that. right? That's
I
just
get that on 500px. I get a rating for every time I post something within 24 hours. I know how it's being
perceived.
received.
Yeah.
But I'm not selling stuff. Well, I got 109 licensed with Getty Images, but I'm not getting much business from
No,
it.
God, that thing set sail. Stock photography is over. You can blame the iPhone, you can blame cheap digital SLRs, you can blame a lot of things, but the stock photography boat is set sail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going through your material. I wouldn't mind an extra income stream. I have grandchildren to take care of.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Where'd you get your PhD from? Just out of curiosity.
Stanford.
Nice. And did you spend your whole career teaching, or were you in practice, or doing what?
Oh no, I was Brookings Institution, Ford Foundation, and then 20 years in the World Bank, and then working as a consultant.
Amazing. Do you know Brad Cornell?
I spent a year and a half at Cornell teaching.
No. Brad Cornell. He's a PhD economist too. My roommate in college, his dad taught at UCLA.
Oh no, I didn't. No, I don't.
Yeah. He's got his own investment firm now. Anyways, I thought it would be a smaller world, but amazing.
I had a mid-career fellowship at Cornell, and fascinating. But anyway, that was another incarnation.
yeah, I love it, and photographing the whole time. Well, yeah, I would go and see a demo with Matt. You can keep doing your research, of course. If it is build a business, we can help you. We can help you. And
it seems. I mean, I'm very impressed. I'm just trying to get a feel for the amount of time that would be required, even if all the framing and choice of printing and all this kind of stuff.
That stuff's easy. Don't get hung up on that. That is the least of the problems.
I mean, building the website, monitoring this thing, doing the marketing and so forth, because it won't just sell itself. I guess.
No. The biggest problem, like what I said practically, like, and this was sort of some of the advice I was given to NB earlier. I don't know if you saw it, but the website and the printing and all the back end and all the admin, that is sorted in a snap. Okay. That is sorted in a snap.
No, I'm very impressed with that.
The hole in the boat, though,
is how much work of this marketing and how much marketing gets sort of done by itself.
No marketing gets done by itself.
Highly intensive.
No marketing gets done by itself. None. Zero. So that's my whole point. Like, the hole in the boat is the marketing problem, right? And it needs to get done one way or another if you want a successful business. That's a full stop. And so you can either do all of it, do some of it, or do none of it, right? On the none of it, you can pay our people to do it. On the some of it, you can a la carte grab things off the shelf when you need a little help, or you can end up doing all of it yourself. But it needs to be done. That's the only way the photography is going to move. Period. There's no other solution that's out there that's easy where you make it. You market yourself. You have a business that you can build year after year after year.
I'll continue my research.
Yeah.
It takes so much of your time.
Yeah, no problem at all. And I would be surprised if your research wasn't extremely in-depth and detailed given your pedigree. So put us to the test for sure. But you should see a demo too, so you can understand what all the bells and whistles are.
I think I've signed up for a demo. It's a little. We'll see. I'm supposed to call back tomorrow. I don't know when this demo is coming exactly. So
we'll find out. We'll follow up for you. Always at the end. Always
later this afternoon. I have a Zoom coming up shortly, and after that, I'm flexible.
Okay. Yep. We'll get in touch with you, Peter. And I'm serious. I like that. I'm digging that view. Just as a final, what part of Oregon?
Corvallis. It's home of the Beavers.
Yeah.
Oregon State University.
Yeah.
And you get your gun and come to Oregon. It's not Oregon, it's Oregon.
Yeah. Love it. I've been. So great. Good talking to you, Pete.
All right, great.
All right. What else, guys? Questions, comments. I'm trying to see if did I miss anything. Is there a way to get a sneak peek at the Facebook Small Wins group? No, Laura, we don't really do that, sadly. It's for members only, but it's what would you see in there that I guess you would see a bunch of really, really happy people in there. That's what you'd probably see in there. Look at this. Love you, Alexis, for this comment. As a member for less than 60 days, the marketing course has helped me get back on track. I'm doing a big show this weekend, was asked to be interviewed by Channel 8. Ooh, Alexis, I want a live art show in the booth. Let me know that you saw that comment, Alexis, or I'm going to track you down on Facebook, Small Wins. I want a live art show in the booth, and then I want you to get one of your booth mates to be streaming live right when the news crew shows up so you look like a big deal. always got to take advantage of those things. Always got to be taking advantage of those things, I tell you. But yeah, as a final, I would say, understand the machinations of this industry, okay? We track all of the sales on our platform. We've been doing this for 7 years, right? To keep the math simple, if the normal total volume of sales on our platform for the months of August, September, I guess you could even say June, July, August, September is 1. What happens every year in October is the sales double. They go from 1 to 2. In November, they go from 1 to 3. In Christmas, it falls back down to a 1.5 multiple. That has been consistent year in, year out for us. And it's just the industry norm. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, 2 of the biggest e-commerce holidays in the United States all year, not even close. That was pre-COVID, okay? Depending on which expert you talk to, 10 years of e-commerce growth was ushered in over a 7-week period, meaning the total volume of sales that transpired as a result of e-commerce, in contrast to retail, 10 years of growth in 7 weeks. A lot of that back to normal is not going back to normal. So people are continuing to buy more and more and more online. And so as an artist, as a photographer, if you can still get signed up, get signed up. If you can't, all you have to do is a little marketing and get a doggone sale in the water. There is no better month, by which I mean right now, where we are right now, than to have a sale ahead of Black Friday, ahead of Cyber Monday. Massive, massive e-commerce holidays. And better still, I say this all the time too, and I love pointing it out. When I was a kid, things used to be civilized, okay? We would all enjoy Thanksgiving with our families. The next day, there would be this thing called Black Friday, right? And then there would just be normal Christmas shopping. I would procrastinate to the last minute. We'd get on with our lives. Then, Cyber Monday. Holiday invented out of whole cloth for no reason. Huge. Now it's one of the biggest e-commerce days in the world. Then, some enterprising merchants were like, you know what we're going to do? Instead of having a Black Friday sale, we're going to move ours up a week in advance. And then we're going to suck all those dollars out of the market. And then, the next thing you know, year after that, 500 different companies have done that. Now, October starts. Everyone is just whipping everyone into a frenzy. It's like that movie Jaws where the detective is smoking a cigarette and chumming the waters. Everyone is doing that. Radio, TV, print, billboards. You can't go anywhere. Sale, 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 sale. And subconsciously, this whips all of us humans up and gets us on our trigger fingers with the credit card, okay? This is the month. And then up till halfway through December, because then you can't get the thing shipped by Christmas. Best time of the year to be selling and marketing your art. The single solitary best time, not even close. So I say all that to say, don't let this fourth quarter go by like all the rest where you probably didn't do anything, right? We all know the holidays are crazy. Okay, like in a couple of weeks, the sweaters are coming out, the Christmas parties, the holiday parties, the this, that, and the other. You blink and it's the new year. So don't let another Q4 come and go without taking a dedicated shot at marketing the single solitary best months of the year to sell your product. All right, that's my rant on Q4. Trying to think what else I have to remember. Do you have a list of templating for marketing to send out in emails? Oh yeah, Chris, we give you all of that. We give you all the language to use every single solitary time. We have a calendar that tells you what to do 365 days a year straight up. And then when we ask you to send an email, we give you the sample text, and then you just sort of adjust the template to the nuances of your business and your voice. Some people don't even do that at all, to be honest with you. Sometimes it's a little embarrassing because I have, don't laugh at me for this, I'm not kidding. I have all of the customers put one email address that we monitor on the marketing team. And so every email that they send out all goes into this box, and I'll look some weeks and none of them even change the subject line. So it's like 65 emails from 65 different people, all with the exact same subject line. But in some ways it's good because it's effective and we know we test this stuff. So yeah, it's just another one of the things that we give you. We give you all this stuff. It's a big deal. None of you guys have done any marketing really at all. Those that have not done it consistently, and there's low-hanging fruit, you guys, just waiting if you actually do it. And trust me, I know you don't want to do it. I know you are all terrified to do it like the plague, okay? I get that. I've talked to hundreds of you guys. I already know. You know, I sometimes people will fill out the forms on our website requesting more information, and they'll put in their website, and we'll find their social profiles, and I go and look at the social profiles, and I go and look at their websites, and no one is touching anything at all, period. You know, they're not marketing consistently. They're not running a sale. They're not posting regularly. They're not posting images of themselves marketing their work or anything of the above. So critically important you do that. April, will you share the video in the chat that I did on the merchandising? I want you guys' homework to watch this one, especially. It is just a I'm really, really pleased about it as just a piece of content that talks about, here, I'm pulling it up now so you guys can see it. All right. Coming up
I gotta
on
get that
today's edition.
Nope,
of the
that's
Art
not it. It
Business
opened in the
Morning
wrong
Show.
window.
There's nothing more detestable than seeing oneself on video. I absolutely hate it. I have a face for radio, but I'm not kidding. I want you to watch this video, okay? This video is really, really good, and it's on merchandising. I call it Merchandising 101, a broad primer on how to think about it and how to approach it. Primarily, I'm going to explain to you all the ways that you're completely blowing it in here, okay? Which most of you are, right? Because all of you guys are just sharing 2D images instead of showing me the product that actually goes on the wall. You guys are making me think, okay? You're making me think that somehow I have your creative prowess to be able to transfer a 2D image into the thing that goes on the wall. This is the thing that goes on the wall. It's real, it's tactile. It has a wood frame. It has this little hook. I can lust after it. I can visualize it. I realize that it goes on my wall, and yet almost none of you are showing these in your marketing at all. So, all right, that's what I got. I feel like I've run myself out of steam. Any other questions? Final? Otherwise, can be about anything. Happy to answer. I do believe, too, that we had a crazy sale going on at the end of the month, and we weren't able to get back to everybody, so I think they extended it, like, spillover for a couple of days. Yep, boom. See, Laura gets it. By the way, thanks for the tip for sharing a photo of yourself on Instagram, and not just art. I get so much more interaction that it was a surprise. It is so insanely important, that concept. You know, all of us live our lives on these stupid things, right? And it's just a swipe, 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 swipe. And when you have the 2D image, that is boring. No one wants to see a photo of the photo. Show me the photo, right? What is the photo? This is the photo. It's real. Don't show me the photo of the photo. All I see all day long are photos of the photos. Everyone sees all day long is photos of the photos. I want to see your smiling face next to it, holding it. Huge difference. So, okay. Guys, great session. Appreciate all of you. Leave it there. For those that we said we will reach out and contact you, we will reach out and contact you. I apologize for the sheer volume of email that we send as an organization. We are aware of the problem and we are working on it. Okay? I bear responsibility because I run the marketing department here, but look, it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. You guys are busy watching cat videos and everything else. If I have to get your attention, I got to send 555 emails. I'm working on it, though. No, Aaron, you can still absolutely get started and get going. I mean, look, the time that you have between now and Black Friday, you still have time to get up and running and ready. And you still have time to take advantage of the Christmas stuff, right? And, you know, to building this business and getting this business going, it's the oak tree. Well, when's the best time to plant an oak tree, Patrick? 30 years ago. When's the next best time? Today. And the larger point is, it sounds cynical, like, so says the guy selling the websites. But the larger point that I see time and time again, and I have so many of these calls, all just get started when I get all my work photographed. All just get started when I decide what my niche is. All just get started when I retire. All just get started when I get my bank account and my business license. And what do I see in all those occasions? The hours turn into days, turn into weeks, turn into months. How's that business coming? Are you making any? No, you're not making any progress. You are lying to yourself. You're deluding yourself, right? You have to get started. And don't take it cynically. I don't care if you start it without us and you go start a WordPress site and start marketing, but don't wait, right? You have to get started. The journey of the 1,000 steps or whatever it is starts with one. So, all right, that's what I got. I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate all you guys. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, and let's get a sail in the water. You guys, this is the month. This is the month.